Welcome to another chapter of the Dementia Diary, a chronicle of caring. I'm your host and author, Barbara Diamond, sharing with you my true story of caring for a loved one with memory loss. This chapter is titled The Birth of the Dementia Diary. A few months ago, I was recounting the latest adventure with hubby to my dear friend Ruchi at our weekly 3 p.m. chat in her front garden. During Corona and COVID-19, when living with a spouse who has any form of dementia, the need for intellectual human conversation is quite excruciating. Hubby sometimes complains to me that we never discuss anything anymore. It is true. We used to share everything. And now every subject that I bring up is met with confusion and stress and ultimately discord. Thus, I talk very little. And for a woman who has much to say, this is like a sentence in solitary confinement. There is certainly no real communication. My brain has little opportunity to unload its angst. This is relevant, but I digress. It's one of my faults. While having our weekly outdoor rendezvous and while unloading the latest hubby happening, Ruchi exclaimed, "There's a book in all of this." Having written well over 100 articles for the Jerusalem Post and my blog on the Times of Israel, my love of writing has been the one and only creative outlet which I did not completely abandon as hubby's condition required more and more of my attention. Granted, I cannot write when he is awake, nor can I think straight when he emotes every thought that comes into his brain. And he expects me to respond to each sentence. But in rare, quiet moments before he awakens or when he's napping, I still love to sit and see where my thoughts and my memories will take me. When I returned home from our weekly rendezvous and our visit out of doors, I vowed to consider the idea of writing a book about all the experiences and emotions of caring for an aging spouse with dementia. The purchase of a lovely little pink leather journal has been dedicated to writing down the many experiences which float in and out of my brain so they don't escape me. A list of ideas actually appeared, topics for the book that I hoped would be called the Dementia Diary. In 2 days, I had written down 110 ideas and topics in the little book. Indeed, Ruchi was right. There was a book waiting to be written here. In my parents' generation, the word dementia was not used frequently. The condition was referred to as senility, and I remember the term hardening of the arteries being bantered about. I doubt that the world knew a great deal about dementia in those days. There were many varieties. There are many causes of dementia. In those days, it was just sort of presumed that as somebody would get older, they would show signs of senility. I doubt the average person knew that there were actually diseases that attacked the brain, such as Parkinson's or Alzheimer's disease, or vascular dementia, or frontal lobal dementia, or dementia with Lewy bodies. Each patient who has signs of cognitive impairment may have them for very different reasons. Their speed of decline will vary, and in many respects, their conditions will be very different. But there is a thread which connects all of them, and that is the immense demands that will be made on their spouse or caregiver or son or daughter to help them through the years to come. A few months ago, I joined a Zoom support group of lovely women who care for their spouses who have varying forms of dementia. Both men and women are in the group. It has become clear from our discussions that others, both friends and family members, cannot begin to know what we experience daily. In truth, we don't really want to impose our reality on others. It is quite difficult enough for us to endure. Still, we need to be heard, and we need others who care about us and about our loved one to understand what we're going through. Our adult children have no clue what we deal with from the time we wake up to sleeping, and yet they often think that they know best. If they don't live with us, they can't know. If we cannot share with them, how can they understand? Thus, the idea of this book, which is based on my experiences with hubby and mentoring others as I was mentored, have flowed to my fingertips. It is my hope that family and friends and complete strangers, that you will pick up the Dementia Diary and not be afraid to enter the complex world of confusion and heartbreak and solitude and sometimes amazing humor that is inhabited by dementia sufferers and their spouses. The humor that I refer to is subtle, not the slapstick humor that comedy television resorts to when they represent an individual who has cognitive impairment. It really is no joke at all. There is very little, which is funny, about having your mental capacities decline. But still, discovering that there is a humorous side of an experience does make it more bearable. If this Dementia Diary, which I have embarked upon, makes it possible for you and your family to smile once in a while, and if it opens up discussions heretofore suppressed as untouchable, if it helps others to appreciate what a hero your family member or your friend is who is taking care of a loved one with dementia, then it has all been well worth the effort. This has been the latest chapter of the Dementia Diary, a chronicle of caring. For additional free resources for caregivers, please go to thedementiadiary.com. I am your host, Barbara Diamond, and I welcome you to join me again next time for another chapter of the Dementia Diary, a chronicle of caring.